Saudi Arabia has been carrying out almost daily airstrikes on Yemen since the spring of 2015. The air raids have crippled Yemen's infrastructure and destroyed health facilities, leading to the worst humanitarian crisis in the world. The United Nations estimates that some 14 million people are on the brink of famine. However, one thing is for certain: the Yemeni people are not on the brink of defeat. Despite a much inferior military power than that of Saudi Arabia, the Yemeni military and Ansarullah forces have pulled off a sophisticated operation deep inside the kingdom. Drones have attacked state-owned Saudi Aramco oil facilities, including pumping stations and pipelines west of the capital, Riyadh. The drones traveled more than 800 kilometers at a slow speed inside Saudi Arabia without being detected. The attack caused no casualties, but it did strike at the heart of the kingdom's economic interests. The operation raises a major question. After more than 4 years, is Saudi Arabia winning at all in its war on Yemen?
Similar to what George H.W. Bush said back in 1998 and 1990 about the first Gulf War. It would just be over in a few weeks. Of course, it dragged on and on and on. Led to the 2003 illegal invasion of Iraq, and it's carrying on now in the attempts of the West, particularly the United States, to continually intervene, it seems mainly for the benefit of Israel, in the Middle East. That's what the despotic leaders always say when they start a war, is it's going to be over very, very quickly. And we can see, of course, that's not been the case at all.
The Yemeni military says the strikes were in response to Saudi aggression and genocide in Yemen. It says 7 drones were used in the operation and warned it has the ability to execute similar attacks in the future. The operation against the Saudi oil facilities comes despite Yemen being under a land, air and sea blockade by Riyadh. Following the attack, Ansarullah said its forces had shot down a Saudi combat drone in Yemen's central province of Sana'a. As the Yemeni forces show no signs of defeat, they have taken a major step towards implementing a UN-backed peace process. In line with the ceasefire deal agreed 6 months ago, the Ansarullah movement has unilaterally withdrawn its forces from 3 key ports in Hodeidah province. The United Nations has welcomed the pullout. Its monitors have praised what they said was very good cooperation with Ansarullah officials, and hailed the measure as a breakthrough in efforts to end the war. However, the movement has called on the UN to press Saudi-backed forces to implement their part of the deal.
And the Saudis have had very little to lose out of that conflict apart from their credibility and their respect around the world, which is now at rock bottom. It does seem to me as if it's almost like the days are numbered for the Saud family, and particularly for Mohammed bin Salman. Most of the support they do have politically in Saudi Arabia and financially is support that's due to fear. So people are worried about losing contracts, losing money, and losing their lives potentially if they cross people like Mohammed bin Salman. So it's a very fragile country. It may be that by trying to increase pressure on Iran, for example, by the Americans, and to up the ante in this conflict, it may be that causes the Saudi regime to crumble before our eyes, because there's not a lot of real domestic support by the Saudi population for the royal family anymore.
But critics are now questioning if Saudi Arabia even wants to end the war. Hodeidah seaports serve 90% of all Yemeni imports. It is the main lifeline for 2/3 of Yemen's population. The pullout by Ansarullah was supposed to have paved the way for the implementation of a peace process. However, Saudi airstrikes are still killing Yemenis, and clashes have since been reported in Hodeidah itself. UNICEF, the UN Children's Agency, says fighting is still raging across 30 different conflict zones in Yemen. These are home to 1.2 million children. The agency says hospitals, clinics, and water systems are in ruins. It has also warned that if the war continues, the country may move past the point of no return. Meanwhile, the UN Special Envoy to Yemen says there are signs of hope, but there are also alarming signs of more violence.